Alright, so I see a couple of familiar faces, but we do have some new faces, so I'll introduce myself first. My name is Matt Milano. I'm the Director of Experiential Learning here at ND. First of all, thank you for considering travel and a travel course as part of our NDXL Experiential Learning program. It's a very unique process, and it's a very unique thing to be able to do and to invest in your child's education. So thank you. Just a little bit about the program. This is something that we've really dreamed of, to be able to do this on this level of preparing to go before a trip and then coming back and really breaking the experience down and trying to go through not only the history or what they learned, but to learn more deeply into a specific destination is incredible. As a program, this is something that they're going to be constantly being asked to really think about their skills of what they're doing, and there's a theme that's incorporated with the travel portion of this course. So it's much more than just here's a guide and we're going to show you where the Washington Monument is. So it's an incredible opportunity, and thank you for considering. Just a little bit about what we're going to do. Greg W. from Grand Classroom is here as a representative from our travel company, and he's going to go through more of the details of financing and insurance and so on. And our trip leader, Adam McQuit, is here, a veteran of Washington, D.C. trips, and of course, one of our social studies teachers as well. So we're going to bring him along, and he's really going to take hold of the itinerary, which he's been part of the custom design of as well. So this is not just like looking at a brochure and kind of going for it. It's a pretty incredible experience that we've designed all together. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn over to Greg first.
Why don't you just hop right in and I'll finish up.
Perfect.
And for those of you who just arrived, my name is Greg from Grand Classroom. We're the partner travel provider for this trip, if we didn't meet before.
So, thank you for coming. Our trip was supposed to take place right before the pandemic hit. We were ready to head on the bus on Monday, and we got shut down on Friday. So I've been basically 3 years in making it go back. The reason my trip is centered around the first three capitals of this country. That's what it's based upon. So New York for 1 year, Philly for 10 years, and then our current capital, Washington D.C. So that's how we set my itinerary. We used to go on the trip years ago, and we only used to go to Washington, D.C., but I want to add these other two components in. I definitely feel like a lot of our students have never been to Washington, Philly, or New York City, and I feel it's a great opportunity for them to see important landmarks, things that they don't get to see here in Connecticut. So I'm just going to run you through. It's a 5-day trip. We're leaving the 13th of March, that Monday. We'll pull out at 7 in the morning. And we'll come back the 17th at night, and we're going to get out of DC. I just double checked, because the Cherry Blossom Festival starts on the 20th, and we've done the trip before, and it's a nightmare down during the cherry blossom. So we'll see the cherry blossoms; they'll be blooming and everything, but the traffic down there, it adds like double or triple the time trying to get from one place to the next. So I'm glad we're going to get out of there before the festival begins. So the itinerary: the first 3 days, really, we're going to be down in DC, first like 2.5 days, and then we'll head to Philadelphia for the 4th day, and then New York for the last day. So, like I said, we're going to get out of here at 7 o'clock, and museums at the time, the last time we went on the trip, the National Museum of African American Culture and History was only being built. So this is our first time that we're actually going to be able to go down there, which is right on the National Mall. So I'm looking forward to it. I actually have pictures of some of the stuff inside there, so that'll be our first stop when we're down there. So like for the people that are here for the first presentation, everything is included in your price except for souvenir money. So the minute you get on that bus and the minute you get back home, everything is included. Meals, your hotels, okay, your tickets, everything is included. So this is just a picture of, obviously, the museum, first stop. You cannot go in the White House, unfortunately. We only can do the picture in front of the White House, but the White House has beautiful security around there since 9/11. It is really tight. So we'll be able to stop there. And then we have at night, we're doing 2 nights of the illuminated tours of the monument. So we'll see, obviously we have the Lincoln Memorial, Vietnam Memorial, that's the Korean Memorial over there that we'll see. And to see the memorials at night, if you've never done it before, is unbelievable versus seeing them during the day. And the one thing about like the Vietnam Memorial, A lot of vets that go there, they leave things behind, mementos for loved ones. So it's really moving, seeing it, and I tell the guys this, I will give them the heads up to make sure they wear comfortable clothing, because it's a lot of walking, and since they're boys, baby powder is highly recommended, or spandex shorts, because the chub rub, they'll be walking like this the next couple of days, and I want them to enjoy the trip. So we had guys before trying to find baby powder down in the gift shop, and they got bought pretty quickly, so some guys suffered. So that's my #1 recommendation, baby powder. Then the next day, so I designed this trip. The reason, my second day, this is my favorite museum of all time, the National Museum of the Marine Corps. All right, the other ones, Arlington National Cemetery. This is, if you've never experienced Arlington National Cemetery, the changing of the guard to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, it is moving. It is unbelievable how they're like so disciplined and regimented, and it's an honor for those guys who actually are chosen to be guards here. We also see the Iwo Jima Memorial. This is different. We added this. This was brought up in the last trip. Normally we go to the Air and Space Museum down at the National Mall. This one's in Virginia. This is even better than the one, and that one in Washington is very impressive. This has like, there's a Space Shuttle Challengers in there. There's like full-blown jets and whatnot that are in there. And at night we'll do the Tidal Basin Monument Tour. So we'll do the Jefferson, the FDR, and the MLK monument there. So this is just a picture. So the National Museum of the Marine Corps literally covers everything from when it was first created, the Marines were created in 1775 to the present. Every room is situated based upon the time periods. So the museum itself is actually built in honor of the Marines at Iwo Jima. That's like symbolizing the raising of the flag at Iwo Jima. And some of the pictures inside there, I mean, they have planes, helicopters, they have interactive things in there for your sons that, you know, like to practice their duck hunting skills there. They have like a laser sighted rifle there. You can see if you're a marksman. I try to go every year. I come so close to getting 100%, but I keep failing. So, but that's a lot of fun. There's tanks. They have a great souvenir shop. Probably one of the best souvenir shops around. But it's a huge complex, so it starts, like I said, from the American Revolution all the way to the present with the Marines and what they've been involved in. Then Arlington, so the building that's up on top there, that's Robert E. Lee's home, right, where he lived. And then throughout the cemetery, it is massive, so we'll walk to the, like I said, to the Unknown Soldier. We'll see like other monuments that are there, JFK, which is right near there, his memorial, the family's memorial there. Which is the eternal flame that is always burning there as well. There's the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And for people that don't know, I mean, they're out there, rain, snow, wind, unless it's like a blizzard, it's about the only time they're ever not out there. So the Iwo Jima Memorial, much more impressive than the one that you see in Meriden, which obviously is the original one. And there's the Udvar Hazy Air and Space Museum. So that's just a picture of some of the things that are inside there. It's a massive complex. They also have, for guys that are really into, like, they have flight simulator in there, so they can, that's extra, but I've done before, it's really wild. So if they're interested in doing that, that will be in the museum as well. There's a picture outside. And there's the memorials, the monuments that we'll see at night. And again, they're much more impressive at night than they are during the day. All right, so the third day in DC, before we head to Philadelphia, we have Capitol Hill, which we will do the tour of the Capitol. Supreme Court, which is right across the street, very small. Hopefully, maybe they'll be in session. If they're in session, we might be able to pop in and listen. They're limited, but it is open to the public. We'll see the Library of Congress, the Holocaust Museum, and then the National Museum of American History. So, for the Capitol, and I will go over the guys that are going, when they say do not bring something, you do not bring something. They're very strict with their rules there. Liquids, everything, they don't want any of that stuff because their security is such a concern. All right, Library of Congress, and the Holocaust Museum. It's not like your typical museum. It's trying to put you, when you go into the museum for the first time, they try to give you the impression of what it was like for the Jewish people when they were loaded into the boxcars and brought to the concentration camp. So they literally, you can take a palm card, has like a little booklet, and it gives you a perspective about the Jewish person that lived during the Holocaust. And as you go through the museum is really large. We're going to be there for 2 or 3 hours, and you can spend literally days in this museum. That's how much is inside this museum. And you'll see at the end whether or not the person you had lived or was killed. And when you get in this boxcar, they cram you in, so to try to give you the impression what it's like. And when you get off the car, and I'm not going to give it away, but if you had any thoughts this is going to be a normal museum, it puts you in a different state of mind. That's all I'm saying. And it's very powerful. There's a lot of stuff that you don't learn in history books in this museum. So it's one of my favorites, probably besides the National Marine Corps. This would be my second favorite museum, just in terms of the sheer history and information I've learned that I didn't even know about as a history teacher. So then we're going to go to the National Museum of American History. And the irony is today I'm covering the War of 1812, and so we're talking about Fort McHenry and the Star Spangled Banner. And so there's literally the flag that flew over Fort McHenry. So when you walk into the museum, it's right behind the wall there, and you can go and see it. So it's really, for the guys that have me for junior year for U.S. history, we just learned about it, so it has some relevance to them. But there's other things in their pop culture. They have, Dorothy's ruby red slippers, Archie Bunker, for those of you who remember him. His chair is in there, and other things, trains, cars, everything that's dealing with history, right? American history. I didn't choose the natural history because a lot of guys have gone to the Peabody Museum at one point or another, and to be honest with you, the Museum of Natural History is just a supersized version of the Peabody Museum, so I wanted them to go to an American History Museum, things that they've never seen before, so that's why I chose this Smithsonian Museum. So then, we will head that night, we'll head to Philadelphia, and the next day, I'm just going to jump ahead, because we will go down to the Constitution Plaza where we have the Independence Hall, where the Constitution was written and signed. We'll have the Liberty Bell. This picture down on the lower right, this is literally the plaza. So here's Independence Hall. Over here in this building, this is where the Liberty Bell is located, and directly across is the National Constitution Center, where we will be going there as well. And the one thing in the National Constitution Center, they have this one-person play that they put together there. It is unbelievable. This person that does this play, it's about a 15-minute play just to sit around, and images are going all around. I did it 3 years ago. I went down there and I saw it. It was right before the pandemic, and it was really, really, really impressive. So I'm going to encourage everyone to do that, go and see that while they're in there. But they have like literally the founding fathers, 55 founding fathers, full-size statues of them. They have other things that you can see as they're going throughout the museum. But it's really, really nice. From there, we're going to walk to probably the greatest food place in the country, the Reading Terminal Market, where we'll have lunch there. So there's plenty of options for the guys. Not that I'm not including any of the other places we're going to eat, but this place is really good. They can buy their snacks if they want, like cookies or whatnot, but they have plenty of places. Philly cheesesteaks, Amish food there's a place there to have Amish food if you want. It's really, really good. So that's about 2 or 3 blocks that we'll take a walk up. Then you have to do the Rocky Steps when you're down in Philadelphia. Okay? You have to do the Rocky. I didn't put the Rocky statue, but I know there's a Rocky statue there. But you have to run up the steps and you have to pump your arms when you get there. So we'll get a group picture of them. I told them I wanted to do it. It's probably more me than they want to see it. I grew up with Rocky, and so that's the last thing. All right. So then we head to New York. So we're going to have dinner down at Times Square. They'll have some time to go around Times Square, and we're going to see a Broadway show where 2 years ago or 3 years ago we were supposed to see, we had tickets for Aladdin. So I asked, and I've got the best news in the world. We're going to see Hamilton. I just found out we are going to see Hamilton. So I'm so excited. Like, I saw it at the Bush now, like it was great, but I'm like, I can't even imagine seeing it at Broadway. So anyways, like, the first thing I did was I text Casey LaMonica. And she was so jealous. She's my third chaperone if I get up to 30 people. So she's so she is definitely on board. So I'm super thankful the Grand Classroom was able to get it, because that in itself is worth going to see Hamilton. So if you've never seen it, and my thing was, some of these guys have never seen a Broadway show before, and I really think they should see one at some point in their life. So I had my choices. Hamilton obviously was number one, because I knew it would be entertaining to them, and it completely ties this whole trip together with the history part. Then I had Lion King was second, Aladdin was third, but I'm so happy, like, we have Hamilton, so we're gonna go see that night. Then the last day, so we have the cruising to New York Harbor, we'll see Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, and then we will go to the 9/11 Memorial and the 9/11 Museum, which I covered in my history classes. Even though 9/11 was Sunday, I did talk about it on Monday. So a lot of people have never been to the Statue of Liberty, all right, and clearly there's the two memorials there and the museum, the picture on the right, that's the museum in the upper right there. So, you know, we talk about, I show like the boy with the red bandana, man with the red bandana, Wells Crowther, so we're gonna try to find his name down there as well. So, anyway, so that'll be somber, you know, that's gonna be a really moving experience for people, but it's important, it is important. And then we will finish up with our first capital, Federal Hall on Wall Street, and then we're right now near the bull, so we'll go ahead and try to grab a picture next to the bull for the bull market. Hopefully it's gonna be a bull market soon, so. All right, and then we will get back and head home to Notre Dame, probably get back somewhere around 10 o'clock, I'm guessing. Usually it was later than that because we would do DC and then all the way back from DC, but we're slowly making our way back. So we know we're gonna make good time until we hit the Connecticut border, and then we're gonna do screeching halt, right? So I will have your sons, once we cross the Connecticut border, tell you that we crossed the Connecticut border, probably plan on being home in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that way you're ready to pick them up. It's a lot of the weekend, so we'll be home on Friday night. But it's a great trip. I did it, I planned it with the idea, thinking what the guys are gonna like. We've done Mount Vernon before. They don't care about Mount Vernon. They don't care about Mount Vernon. It's nice, it's a house, okay, but the museum, the Air and Space Museum is what they want, the Marine Corps Museum is what they want. I want them to see the Holocaust Museum because it is one of the courses we teach here, and it is history, and it is important. So, and obviously, the American, African American Museum, History and Culture is very important as well. So it's now we have that opportunity. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yep.
Do you anticipate traffic from the New York St. Patrick's Day parade to be an issue?
Well, it could be. I know we're coming back on Friday, so that's why. I mean,
You don't want to burn them? Coming from the action.
I know. I may leave. I may send whoever, Mr. Foot is my other shot. I may send him home and stay behind for the St. Patrick's Day celebration.
That's
So,
just curious if that.
no, it doesn't. We're not worried about it. We have the coach bus, so they'll have their, you can pop a video in, or I'm sure they'll be watching things on their phone. So, all right, I'm sure they'll be doing something like that. But that's the first week of the trip. Then I'll have them in the classroom the second week. My plan is each group, because there'll be 4 in a room, that's how it is for DC, and they'll get to choose who they want to room with. I plan on doing, they're gonna have to do like a video log, a vlog. Everyone's gonna be assigned a day, so basically you're just gonna have to take all the pictures down there during that day, and then when we get back the following week, they'll work on it, and then eventually the school will publish it, put it out there on social media. So that's part of how I'm tying everything together with my trip. So I'm excited, I'm looking forward to it. It's a great time. I've done it a number of times with Mr. Milano, and then with Mrs. LaMonica, I've done it with her at least 4 or 5 times as well, so. Yeah.
Do you know if they'll be there for the changing of the guard?
It always, I can't guarantee that, but we'll be there long enough because we're gonna walk around. We'll try to schedule it, so we'll find out when it is.
Yeah.
But they have.
That's their most dramatic part of it.
Yeah, exactly, so, we're gonna try to do it, so. Anybody else?
Is this an every year trip or is this a?
This is not, it'll be a different domestic trip again, so probably in the next, like similar to the other trip, but won't be on for the next 4 years. So there might be a San Fran trip, there might be like a Colorado, the Rocky Mountain trip, something along those lines. So it definitely won't be this for another, 3 years after that. Because we want to try to offer different things, so that's the plan.
Do you know the hotels?
They haven't been, it's a 3-star or better. So once we get the final number, then Grand Classroom will be the one that'll give us the information. I will get, just like with Sean, with the Italy trip, you will get all the information. You'll get the hotels, you'll get the hotel numbers. I will make sure, like, I'm gonna get all your sons, I'm gonna get all the cell phone numbers, I'm putting them all in Life 360. So they're all gonna be at my palm, and if they shut off their phone, then they're gonna stay by me the whole time, so I don't really care. Okay? Because I need to know where they are, because they will have, when they're in the museums, they're not fourth grade, they need to hold hands, they're young men, so they'll be able to go, we'll just read them the rules, so they need to act a certain way, but they're expected, if I see somebody outside the museum, because they'll have it on, I will be calling right now and saying, get back here, and then, so I'll be dealing with them, so, but that's the plan, they'll all be on Life 360, so, if they don't give it to me, they're next to me, they go where I wanna go, they're not going where they wanna go, they're going where I wanna see, so, alright, yes?
So the second week is with you as well?
Correct.
So they don't get to pick another?
No, they'll be, because it's automatically 2 weeks, they have A section and B section, we're just a one giant A section, that's it, so, for the whole time, they'll be with me, so. Alright. Anybody else?
Alright, so get down to some of the details.
Just some.
Yeah,
which need to go.
brilliantly designed trip. I love to see trips, especially linking cities together with a narrative and purpose, and it's definitely going to be a great one. For those of you who were here earlier, very similar registration setup, and we'll just pop to our little financing slide here. I got it, yeah. So all inclusive for this trip as well, $99 deposit, just like we were doing for Italy. Set up the payment plan as necessary or as preferred by phone call, but registering online. Again, that $99 deposit, and the payments that you set up include everything on the trip. The only money they need is for souvenirs, as I've mentioned a couple of times. This also does provide full-time guide service that will be with the group, staying with the hotels 24/7. They will be your curator of the experience to the degree you need them, and you have a very clear vision of the trip as well, very much like the Italy trip. So our guide will be there to help with logistics that you don't have to worry about, but also will be a DC-based specialist to help with everything. The only thing not included in this packaging is the additional travel protections. For those of you who are here for the Italy portion of the trip, you do have different options to protect your investment, depending on any potential concern you have regarding student withdrawal from the trip as the trip approaches. You'll be given options. You can not enroll in those programs, or you'll be given options upon registration if you would like to add additional travel protections to your investment in travel. I see the majority of everybody that was here before, but just quick summary of that. The kind of standardized tier of travel protection allows for withdrawal up to 1 week before travel. That does include a few travel exceptions, including act of God, acts of civil unrest, quarantine and illness, and so on. The higher level trip protection policy allows for withdrawal up to 24 hours before travel with no exclusions whatsoever. And if you need to consider those options a little bit longer, you have the option of registering up to 1 month after your initial deposit if you do want to enroll in one of those extra protections, or you could opt out of that completely. Those are the main points. Registration is open. The trip is based on 20, very much like Italy was, but we are not capped at 20. We are open and ready to be accepting reservations right away. The website's up and good to go. If you have the flyer with you, you can scan the QR code or go to grandclassroom.com. All payments are done directly with us and not through the school. Likewise for both trips, when it does come time for release forms, for you'll have Grand Classroom help forms and portals to register. And I failed to mention this in the Italy trip, but if you have special needs that need accommodating on the trip, such as dietary restrictions, allergies, special meal plans, we do that individualized account management. You'll have a one-on-one person. Her name is Iris, and she will be your point person for any of those extra needs on the trip that need a bit more attention. If you're still here from the Italy trip, food allergies, things like that, traveling internationally, we want to set this up so it's not a prohibitive factor in a student's decision to travel, especially when you're in high school and you're becoming your own advocate for those needs. So if that's something that we need to discuss further, I'm happy to talk one-on-one about specific situations. Again, it's through our website, and both trips are ready to go. So if I can answer any additional questions, I'm happy to stay and talk one-on-one. I know we're a bit past our time this evening, but
I just was gonna ask how
Certainly.
many students are signed up so far for the trip.
I think with this one,
Just a little bit less, I had 5, but I also had during the summertime, people were emailing, I said, just wait until we have our meeting, there's no
Yeah.
reason. Because the cost of this trip for the Italy trip
Yes.
was so much less that I said, there's no rush, and that's why I think they were just once, so.
yeah, I from the interest this evening and the 2 comparative trips, I don't think either run the risk of not running at this point. It's just a matter of this sign up is starting a little later than Italy, where people could have benefited for a couple extra months of working through financing. All right, well, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
I won't end your meeting on you, but I will say at least my part, I'm so happy that this is happening, so happy that travel is happening here at the school, and proud to be a part of it from the early days to now, and excited about the future. So thank you very much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll stick around for any questions.